Hey, good morning, guys. I wanted to show you which algos are working. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. It is 6:34 a.m. So one of the things you do as the market changes and evolves because of the wide ranges, it's really hard to get your mind around, 500-point NQ ranges, 100-point ES ranges. Like that's just wider than anything we've dealt with before. And so it's a struggle to, get all the pieces in place, make sure that what you're seeing is accurate and true. So how do you do that? Well, I'm gonna start with ES and give an example there on a 10 tick. So the first thing you need to know about a 10 tick is that the biggest bars tend to be that's the biggest bar, and it goes from 41 to 34, right? So that's 34, 6, 7, 34, 6, 7 and 3/4, 8 points of bar, right? So yeah, well, that's a lot of bar. So the first thing you have to do is if you want it to slow down, you have to increase your stops and cut your trade size, right? There's no way around that formula. The range is just too wide. You either take increased risk on a stop or you cut your trade size, right? So the next thing I want to show you is normally we would look for these stars followed by an algo, right? So that formula is working. There's no question about it. But what jumps out and what's working very well and giving you an escape route for at least a scale, right? Is it, and you got to pay attention to rotation size, right? So right now, like on ES, I'd want to see at least a 20-point rotation before I take a contra trade, at least, and preferably 30 or 40 points. Why? Because we're covering that distance, right? There's just no way to not evolve beyond that. But if you look, right, what I am looking for very specifically is a rotation up, right? And then what I am looking for on those rotations up is either an algo, preferably a star or a yellow diamond, or if it's the upside, it's a green diamond, right? I'm looking for in addition, the point of control to be outside of the body of the trade. And so if we look just yesterday, right? And again, this is a 10 tick Renko on ES. How did we fare if we did that in general? So this is the easiest way to just do a litmus test of going, hey, what's going on and how well does it work? What are we looking for, right? So if you look at the down triangles, that's the first thing I want to do. If I just took them all in sequence starting at 8:30 in the morning, right? So we already know that past 9 o'clock, right, is where we really want to get started. But let's just start at 9 a.m. and see where we are, what we are doing. Let me erase the lines real quick here. There's 9 a.m. This is a 10 tick Renko. So let's look at the start. Let's look at so we already know it was a downside bias, right? But let's say you thought it was going to go up, right? So we're looking for a couple of elements. First of all, either an algo followed by a star or, right? Or, and specifically the down triangle needs to follow a down arrow or an up arrow, a green dot or a yellow dot specifically, right? So if we look, here's 8:30 a.m., right? If you look, here's star. We already know the start of the upside can either be a reversal up or a reversal down. So you go, well, Simon, well, first of all, this is 8:19, so we wouldn't even be trading it. Let's go over here. So right out of the gate, you get speed bar down, triangle down. I have my speed bars turned off on most of the charts, but I'm going to leave them on this particular size because they're hard to print and it's easier to see. So this triangle down, what it gives me the most importantly is an escape route, right? There's my triangle up, algo, triangle down. Now, you probably need a 10-point stop on this. So you're going to target 10-point targets and you're going to cut your trade size. There's no way around that, right? Or you're just going to get stopped out left and right. You have to adjust to the rotation the market's giving. Or, right, once you give the triangle down, the objective would be to short the bottom of this bar right here. However, there's a however to it. You're going to get a lot of missed trades when you do that. So let's just go and count and see how that would look, right? That's a way of cutting down your trade size. So come down, triangle down, right? So I don't like this algo. I'm not going to use it right now. While it's set up like this, I know that it's working, but I'm not going to use it right now. I want the full bar. So there's the full bar, triangle up, it works. There's the algo, triangle down. Again, I'm going to use a full 10-point stop on this trade, right? My stop's actually going to go above that point. And if you want to add more, so let me suggest this. The wrong way to do this is, let's say you can only trade 7-point stops, right? The wrong way to do this is to take the trade here and put a 7-point stop. You're just going to get stopped. The way to do it is to calculate the correct trade and then subtract 7 points. That becomes your entry for the roll to the downside, right? And again, you have to have a bias one way or the other. It doesn't work. You still have to look at the chart and go, which way do I think this is going, right? And I don't want triangles up here, by the way. See this? I don't want this. I want it right off the apex. Down, triangle up, right? And you'll see almost every time, even with the triangles up, it's giving you an escape route to at least get a scale off. Obviously, we had a downside bias yesterday, so the triangles down are telling you where the turns are coming, and they're giving you escape bias. What I would suggest is you go do this exact same amount of homework, right? Again, the escape route, how much is it worth, right? The escape route, if you take it right at the close, that is a 62 to 60. That one wasn't very attractive, but most of these are giving you more than that. It's 49 to 44. So I'm targeting about 5 points for a scale to get some of my risk off, right? Or what I want is, once the second bar prints, I want within 2 bars for it to retest the bottom of the prior bar. It just doesn't happen once we gain momentum. A lot of them are going to slip away from you. So again, I suggest a hybrid method where you enter small, and if it retests quickly, you can add to it. Like this is a good example, right? Triangle down, comes back to retest. You start here and you add back over here. It gives you an escape route. I would not take this bar, even though I see that it's working. I don't have enough confidence. Although now that I see it over and over again, triangle, that's that hybrid algo. And maybe I need to reconsider, because I see it on this range working a lot, right? And see how it's slowed down for me in here, where I can read it. Now add the 15 and 30-minute locations off the higher time frame, and you get some pretty nice trade setups, right? But again, where it's firing from is the down triangle, right? And again, don't shorten the hole, and look for your shorts on rotations up, and look for your longs on rotations down, and taking out stops on the higher time frame, or pushing down into the power bars um, from the higher time frames, 15, 30-minute time frames, right? It'll make your job much, 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 much easier. Okay, that I can assure you. Secondly, so let's go look at NQ really quick. On NQ, similar story. By the way, yeah, CL is on trend day down overnight. Just be aware of that. It just, you want to get above you want to get above one of these power bars, and this is on a 10 tick Ranko. You at least want to get above 71.25 right now before you start attacking it. Don't catch it into a free fall, right? Again, using our higher time frame pieces of information. This is NQ on a 24 tick, right? So you can see we came all the way down again. Star, triangle up. Again, I would leave small size and bigger stops to get to your P&L. You'll see here this just didn't give a triangle. That's fine. Star down. Here's the triangle. Pushes to the downside, right? To the downside. No algo, just triangle up. I wouldn't have taken that. But algo, triangle up, I'll take that. No algo, I wouldn't have taken that. I would take this down star followed by this triangle up to the upside. That's overnight this morning. And remember, we're going to get kiboshed by quad witching right out of the gate, right? So it's just going to be a really interesting day. But even if you look during the US session yesterday, right, if you wait for that triangle and you key on it, just numerous amounts of wins, as long as it's coming off the edges or coming off of stops. And you have to be generous with the stop to make the trade work, but it is getting extensions off those triangles. What I'm trying to accomplish there is two things. I'm trying to reduce the amount of anxiety we're suffering from, will it work or will it run us over? So the way you do that is cut trade size, right? Increase your stops and give yourself good chances by locating off the 15 and the 30-minute chart. So I wanted to prompt everybody for that before we got started on the day. Everything's on trend day on day before we begin. and I wanted to do this market prep for everyone. I'll be keying off of the triangles today. Um, the only other trade I'll be taking that's very important is what I call the Daniel trade, and that is if I get a bar with a star that then gets stopped almost immediately. So it has to be in a function where it's like, okay, so see how you have this, what that trade looks like requires a little bit more concentration, but you get a power bar stopped out. So this is a good example here. See that power bar with a star? It gets stopped out and it comes back in and puts another star on top of it over here. So I'm going from here to here. You could have used this one as well. It's fine. But this one had the star, stopped out the star and traps back in. That's a very good trade on ES and on NQ, right? So again, you're looking for the bar with the algo on it, and then you're looking for a star. The star has to be on one of the two bars, right? That you're trapping back in on. There's just no other way. So like here's a good example here. See how you had the bar with the star? They stop it out and they come back and top it off with another star. That's at 14:11 in the afternoon, and it launches that. Try not to have a bias, overly strong bias one way or the other. We're swinging hard in both directions. There's a lot of P&L available. Again, I'm going to say it again. You have to cut size to give yourself a chance to get to profitability. That's the only way to do this. So anyways, that's what my plan is for today, and that's what I'll be focusing on. So I will be scaling. I will not be scaling at 1-to-1 RR probably. I want to get some of my risk off so that I can absorb the stops, right, and continue to take my trades. I know that's not ideal, but it's a very, very volatile environment, and that's how you have to pivot. So, and line them up with the higher time frame locations. Okay, that's all I got, guys. See y'all at 8 a.m.